I'm Adrienne Carter with DealBook, here speaking with Andrew Ross Sorkin about his latest column on tax loopholes, a very interesting issue in light of the federal debt. Welcome, Andrew.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me a bit about your latest column. You take aim at a very particular tax loophole.
A very particular tax loophole. You know, we talk a lot about carried interest for hedge funds and private equity. Presidents talked about getting rid of tax loopholes for not commercial, but private airplanes.
Corporate jets.
Corporate jets is a better way to put it. But this loophole actually looks directly at futures traders and futures in terms of commodities, futures contracts in terms of the S&P index. And I never realized this until just recently. They don't pay the same rate that everybody else pays. So that if you are buying a futures contract and you buy it and you sell it in a short term, you can be a day trader, you do it in a day, you don't pay 35% in terms of ordinary.
What do you pay? You pay much less.
You pay much less. You pay 23%. And you might say to yourself, where does 23% even come from? A rule was changed in 1981 so that futures traders would pay 23%, or actually it was a different rate then, but it was a blended rate of 60% capital gains, 40% short term, and they blend together. That gets you to 23. And it's a huge benefit to a group, by the way, which is really about speculation.
So it's not about the farmers who are buying it. It's not about the airlines who are trying to hedge against their costs.
That's what future contracts started as. But just last week, the CFTC came out and said that over 80% of the volume every single day is not about those people that you just referred to. It's about speculators. It's about day traders who are literally in and out. So this tax benefit is really going to the people who are gambling. They're playing the field, and we've given them an extraordinary benefit that's worth, by the way, to us taxpayers about $2 billion a year. That would be kind of nice to recoup if we could.
But that doesn't sound like a lot of money until you start adding it up. You've got $2 billion here a year from this.
Right.
You've got the corporate jet money. You've got carried interest. How much does carried interest bring in?
Carried interest would actually bring in something on the order of about $20 billion over 10 years. It's actually close in terms of the numbers. It's about $2 billion a year. So you start adding these things up. Again, we have a $55 trillion debt. So the idea that we're actually going to be able to fix our problem so quickly by going at each of these loopholes is a little tough to argue, but I think there's also a sense of fairness and also a sense that you're actually going to have to chip away at each one to actually get something out of this.
You have to do something, as President Obama wants, to get at that cutting spending by $4 trillion or raising revenue.
And raising revenue somewhat, somehow.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
I'm Adrienne Carter with DealBook.